Warning! This video has spoilers from Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight Rondo Rondo Rondo. I mean, it's obvious, but I wanted to point it out. If you watched the movie, you will have noticed that for the title cards, they used famous paintings, and those paintings have a connection more interesting than you may think. Wanna know it? Then let's not waste more time. Through the whole movie, Furukawa and his team used paintings from three renowned painters: Vincent van Gogh, Odilon Redon, and Claude Monet. Curiously enough, Van Gogh's paintings are used when Karen is the main focus, Monet's are used when Hikari is, and Redon's when Nana is the main focus. Also, the three of them were alive at the same time at some point. The three of them were Impressionist painters, well, Van Gogh and Redon were Post-Impressionist. Look, just like if they were sorted by academies. And the three of them were really into Japanese aesthetics. In fact, the painters have some things in common with the characters their paintings represent. First, let's talk about Karen and Van Gogh. Van Gogh wrote letters to the closest person to him, his brother. In fact, he motivated him to become an artist. Van Gogh always dreamt about creating a painter community, and had the support of a fellow painter, Gauguin. However, something made him leave, leaving Van Gogh alone, with his life dream broken, making fade away his reason to live. Fortunately, Karen had a happy ending. For now. The similarities between Monet and Hikari are: both of them moved away from their home. Well, Hikari moved to London while Monet moved to another city in France. But eventually, he went to London. I know, some of these similarities felt like I just shoehorned them into the video. So don't be amazed when you listen to me saying things like, "Hey, Van Gogh breathes, Karen breathes too." Is this a Revue Starlight reference? Also, it's said that Monet's works influenced Van Gogh's. Redon and Nana have some interesting traits in common. Redon, in his childhood, was described as a weak and sad child, a lonely existence. He grew up being melancholic and pessimistic, and that's shown through his art. But one day, his art style changes. Some people say that was due to his own personal happiness. And after a long introduction, let's talk about the video's topic. How about we start with the first painting shown in the movie, Vincent van Gogh's Almond Blossom. It's said that this painting represents a lot about Van Gogh's thoughts about being reborn. I see what you did there. You really are the best, Furukawa and his team. The flowering tree announces the beginning of spring and new life. And it makes sense because, influenced by the Japanese prints, this was painted for his newborn nephew, like an ode to a new life. It's also said that it doesn't depict only his nephew's new life, but also a new life of his own for himself and for his artistic future. Sadly, we know how it ended. And well, regarding the movie, the birth of Karen and Hikari as stage girls. It also represents their childhood because it's a tree that just flowered. Let's continue with Monet's Houses of Parliament and its three paintings used in the movie. The main focus of the painting is the illumination. And what illuminates? That's right, the light. And what produces the brilliance? Also the light. We also have to consider its other interpretation, about a static object in the face of a changing weather, emphasizing in the fog, which played an important role in this series of paintings. Considering the auditions are a fight for the brilliance, and along with the previously mentioned interpretations, we can conclude that, in the first one, the sun is rising, and the fog isn't that thick yet. That's easy. The beginning of the auditions, Hikari's brilliance is starting to show. In the second one, it's already sunset, meaning that the audition's ending is approaching, and those are the last sun rays before they cannot be seen anymore. In other words, the last dazzling rays of Hikari. And the other stage girls, but they don't really matter. In the third and last, we can't see the sun anymore. Also, the fog is thicker than the previous painting. It's even in the painting's name, Effect of Fog. This painting was used to remark the end of the auditions and Hikari's defeat, implying she loses her brilliance and the fog won't let her see the path ahead. Now we go to Nana's story, but in order to talk about the paintings used here, we have to talk about Ridon's art in general. As I mentioned previously, he used to paint using only black on his paintings, and those were kinda disturbing, until one day he radically changed his art style to one more cheerful and imaginative.
この日、生まれたのです。舞台少女、台場ナナが。
Most of his paintings used here are used on a montage, so some of them may not have a specific meaning. It's a more general one. Is what meant for Ridon this new stage on his art. So we will talk about those paintings first, and then we will talk about the ones which may have a specific meaning. All of his paintings used in the movie are symbolist paintings, which consists of something staged. Here, nature is subjectively manipulated in such a way that it was harmonious and aesthetically pleasing, through selecting only certain aspects to paint, creating a play between the real and the ideal. For Ridon, the flowers were more than design elements. They were means of imagining the unconscious and the dream through the convergence of nature and reality that informed them. So yeah, products of his imagination. Ridon himself said, "I don't know about anything that gave me more pleasure than the appreciation of mere flowers on their vase, breathing." In fact, the vases also play an important role on Ridon's paintings, but the screen ratio didn't allow to show them, so goodbye vases. Natural perfection and ideal beauty were important for Ridon's paintings, and in Butterflies, he describes it as a gift of delicious sensuality, which can, with a little of the simplest liquid substance, reconstitute or amplify life, if it's imprinted on a surface from which will emerge a human presence, the supreme irradiation of the spirit. You know what that sounds like to me?
舞台少女がトップスターになる瞬間、奇跡ときらめきの融合が起こす化学反応、永遠の輝き、一瞬の燃焼。
About the paintings with a specific meaning. With nasturtiums, what stands out more are the flowers, which are rendered in such a way that they are recognizable. Its blooms have been simplified, posing the abstract and decorative rendering of the flowers. You know what's also simplified and abstract? Memories! Especially because this scene is shown as a memory. And if you ask me, it makes sense. Wanna know the disturbing meaning behind this painting? Well, it isn't disturbing really, but that's how clickbaits work. My point here is, they use this painting and then they use this scene with a new context, where Nana clings to her 99th Spatial Festival's Starlight, rejecting the existence of the new Starlight they were currently working on. The thing is, the shapes of this painting, combined with its flat colors, create a cloisonist style, where the artist doesn't need to copy the nature exactly as it is and start expressing themselves through every object their feelings and emotions paint. And in the canvas we call Nana's Stage of Fate, she rejects the nature of life and starts creating, with her feelings, the reality she wishes for. Finishing with trees on a yellow background, this painting introduces us to Nana's repeat performance. Here, the yellowish colors stand out, and well, I think I don't have to explain it. It's her stage of fate, she's the protagonist, so she is the one who stands out more. Now, let's go with the last round of paintings, the ones from Karen after the end of the auditions. I found a common theme on these paintings, opposite complementary colors. And well, needless to say, for Karen, Hikari was her complement. Funnily enough, according to an interview made to the staff, first they designed Karen, then Hikari, and they made her Karen's opposite. So, they used these paintings in this part of the story to highlight with an opposite emotion how sad and incomplete feels Karen without Hikari, especially because most of these paintings were painted with a happy context in mind. In Faced with oleanders and books, Van Gogh believed oleanders were joyous flowers that bloom inexhaustibly. When well, we can't see any joyous nor inexhaustibly blowing aura coming from Karen. The book of the painting is Joy of Living by Emile Zola, which it said that Van Gogh was reading it when he painted this. Funnily enough, this is when Karen finds Hikari's copy of Starlight. And in Two Cut Sunflowers, we see Karen revisiting the places she went with Hikari before the audition's last day. Leaving aside the painting technical details, it's said that during his stay in Paris, Van Gogh found comfort in watching the sunflowers. It's also said that there's a hidden symbolism in the Paris Sunflower series, which tells us that Van Gogh was exhausted from Paris' daily life, wishing to leave the capital, searching for a lost paradise. We could say Karen found comfort by going back to those places, to her lost paradise, where she had her last happy memories with Hikari before she disappeared. Also, since the sunflower was cut, it was withering away, just like Karen's brilliance. And as a bonus, we have two additional paintings from the Blu-ray box. Sailing Painting of a Cloudy Sky with Birds by Nicolas Piedmont, and Prince of Cherry Blossom by Ogawa Kazumasa. Unfortunately, I didn't find much information about them, so I will leave it as a random fact. Speaking of random facts, Almond Blossom, Bouquet of Flowers in a Vase, and Houses of Parliament were used on the anime's Blu-ray boxes. Is it relevant? Not really. It just drew my attention, since I thought this painting stuff started with Rondo. I know I may have overdone with my mental gymnastics on some paintings, but what can I say? I'm not an art student, nor a philosophy one. I'm a trade student, and the fact that I was surprised by the custom stacks kinda gives you the idea of what kind of student I am. And it's because I'm not an art student that I found on the internet the paintings analysis, and then I just connected the dots between the paintings and the movie. I don't know, I just wanted to get that clear too. But let's forget about what I think. What's your take on these paintings and how they are used on the movie? I really want to read your take on them, so comment it. I really hope you like this video because I haven't used my brain that much since the beginning of the online classes. Without anything else to say, what are you talking about? I still have some things to say. First of all, go watch this piano cover of Saise Sanbikyoku by Hikudake Risuna. It's the most beautiful cover I've ever heard. You can feel his passion on every note he plays, and he also has a Hoshi no dialogue cover, just as beautiful as the Saise Sanbikyoku one. Go watch it. And if you really mean it, leave a nice comment about his cover. He seems to appreciate that. Also, go watch the Saise Sanbikyoku animated collab with lyrics, made by 12-B. along with other artists for Revue Starlight's 4th anniversary. It's a really beautiful video. And without anything else to say, shut up! There's more, because today is the channel's anniversary! Yay! I really want to thank all of you for every subscriber, every comment, for every view, for staying until the end of this video, and even you, who is watching my videos for the first time. Thank you so much. Why the f did I do that? Thank you. I really mean it. Nothing makes me happier than reading your comments. I genuinely appreciate them because, yeah, a lot of channels have even more views than I will. And I would be lying if I told you that doesn't demoralize me, but reading that someone liked what I made or someone highlights something they liked or found funny makes my day and motivates me to keep doing this and deliver something even better every day for you. Well, more like every video, because you know very well that these videos take their time. I want to thank Salvador Silva Cornejo for the translation commission that ended up being this video. So if you're interested, I also made this kind of commissions. Stop doing things like that. I hope I can count on you on this coming year, because there will be good and new things upcoming on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed, do it. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for all the support. I actually don't have anything else to say, so have a nice day, and I'll be waiting at the next stage.